View of the first part of quadratics. So the first thing that we looked at is the vertex. The vertex is where the quadratic changes direction. It's either a minimum if it's a right side up or a smiley face graph, and it's going to be a maximum if the parabola is upside down or a frowny face graph. So then the first day we looked at how can we use marble slides on Desmos to find the vertex of the quadratics, and we noticed patterns that we had studied before when we looked at functions. So for this one right here, it says find the vertex of each of the quadratics. All right, so this vertex right here is -1, 3. The equation of that was y equals x plus 1 squared plus 3. The vertex of the following quadratic, the next one, is 4, -2. And that equation was y equals x minus 4 squared minus 2. And then our third example, this vertex we go over 0 but up 3, and that equation was y equals x squared plus 3. So we notice patterns about shifting the graph up, down, left, and right, and those same patterns hold true. Inside the parentheses is left and right and opposite of what you think, and on the outside is up or down, and it's what you think. So the plus 3 is up 3, the minus 2 is down 2, and the plus 3 is up 3 for this one as well. So it says if a quadratic is in vertex form, you can get the vertex by doing the opposite of h, and the k value stays the same. And we're talking about this h value and this k value right here. Find the vertex of the following functions. So this one, the opposite of 4 is -4, and then 6 would be going up 6. This would be 1, -17 to find the vertex, and this would be 3, 8. So you should know how to write the equation in vertex form given a graph, and you should know how to find the vertex if it's written in vertex form. The next thing that we looked at is changing from vertex form or something like this to standard form, and it's just order of operations. We're going to multiply, distribute, and combine like terms. So it says change from vertex to standard form, and it looks like I didn't write anything down, so we'll just do these examples right here. Let's change this from vertex to standard form. So the first step is we are going to do the x plus 4 squared. So let me do that in purple right here. So of x plus 4 times x plus 4, since it's squared, we multiply it by itself. And on the inside, we get x squared, 4x, 4x, and 16. So we'll combine like terms. We get 8x plus 16. And the next step is we have this plus 6 hanging out at the end. So plus 6 right here. And we'll combine these terms right here, and our final answer will be x squared plus 8x plus 22. And now it's in standard form where there are no parentheses. All right, let's do another one. I could do one of these. I think I'll just make one up, because sometimes you have a number on the outside. So let's just do y equals -2 x plus 4. Did we do x plus 4 already? Let's do x plus 5 squared, and then plus 10. Okay, so first step is this part right here, x plus 5, and we square it. So we'll do x plus 5 times x plus 5, and get x squared, 5x, 5x, and 25. We'll combine like terms and get x squared plus 10x plus 25. Now this one has a number in front, this -2, so our next step is we will distribute that -2 to our previous answer. So we'll get -2x squared minus 20x minus 50. And then our last step is we have this number hanging out at the end, this plus 10. So we'll just tack it on at the end and combine like terms. And we'll get -2x squared minus 20x minus 40. And there's our final answer. So that's changing it from vertex to standard form. You multiply, distribute, and combine like terms. All right, so that's everything about the vertex on this page. On the next page is the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts of a quadratic is where the graph crosses the x-axis, where y equals 0. So this first one is at 1, and the second one is at 3. For our second one, it's at 2 and at 5. So to write the equation, it's x minus 1 and x. Oh, this should be -1, so I was wrong here. This should be x equals negative 1, so this should be plus 1. And then if x is 3, this will be minus 3. Because if you plug in a 3, we get a 0. If you plug in a negative 1, you get a 0. So the equation in intercept form is just the opposite of the x-intercepts. So for this one right here, the equation would be x minus 2 and x minus 5. Okay, so that's what I did here. Wrote it in factored form. This is factored form. And then the last part is, actually not the last part, but this next part is, you can change from standard form to factored form by using a diamond problem. Okay, so this one, if we want to put it into factored form, so it's with the parentheses, we'll put our negative 32 on top and our 4 on the bottom, and we want two numbers that multiply to negative 32 that add to 4. So some factors of negative 32 are 1 and 32, 2 and 16, I'll just stick the negatives there, 4 and 8, and it's going to be 4 and 8, and we'll have to make the 4 negative so that it adds to a positive 4. So it's negative 4 and 8. And then in your diamond problem, to get to factored form, you just write the sides, x minus 4, x plus 8. And if you were to multiply that out, you would get this right here. All right, let's try the next one. So we make our diamond. The negative 6 goes on top. And since there's a negative x, it is a negative 1x. So we need two numbers that multiply to negative 6 that add to negative 1. And so that would be 3 and 2, and the 3 would have to be negative, so that it multiplies to negative 6, adds to negative 1. So x minus 3, x plus 2 is the factored form. And then I could ask you to find the zeros. What are the zeros or x-intercepts? This one would be at 3 and at negative 2. The zeros of this one would be at 4 and at negative 8, if we were to solve it. All right, sometimes you can't use a diamond problem, so if there's a number for the a value right here, you have to use box and circle to factor it. So let's use a box and circle. In a box and circle, put a circle in the middle, and we start in the upper left-hand corner. 2x squared, negative 9x, negative 5. And we want to know what multiplies to negative 10x squared that adds to the middle circle, negative 9x. So it multiplies to negative 10x that adds to negative 9, and that would be 10 and, whoa, zoom in. That would be 10x and 1x. Which one do we have to make negative? So it adds to negative 9x. That would be the 10. So now in either order, we put that here, negative 10x, 1x, and then we get the outside of the box. So for the outside, we'll always have x and x, but this time we need a 2. So the 2 here is going to have to go on the side, because if it's on the side, we can multiply 2x by negative 5 to get negative 10x, and x times 1 will give us 1x. So our final answer in factored form will be, in either order, 2x plus 1 and x minus 5. All right, let's do one more box and circle. So we have 5x squared, negative 8x, and 3. And we'll multiply these two together. So it multiplies to 15x squared. That adds to negative 8x. So let's think of some factors of 15. 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Okay, so it's going to be 3 and 5, but they both have to be, let's see, negative to multiply to a positive, add to negative. So in either order, negative 3x, negative 5x. We'll put our two x's here. And we need a 5. So the 5 has to go on top because 5 times negative 1 is negative 5x. And x times negative 3 is negative 3x. And so our final answer is 5x minus 3 and x minus 1. Okay. And then the last thing is, if it's in factored form, how can you change it to standard form, which is multiplying it out? And you just pick any two to multiply together first. So I'm just going to multiply these two together first. And we'll get 3x plus 1. And then we'll take that answer and multiply by the last thing, the 2x minus 5, and get the inside. So we'll get 6x squared, 2x, negative 15x, negative 1. And then we'll combine like terms. So that'll be negative 13x minus 1. All right, let's do it one more time. Oh, here there's a negative that you have to distribute, so it just changes the sign of these. And then we'll multiply that answer by the 2x minus 4 and get the inside of the box. So negative 2x squared, negative 8x, 4x, and 16. Combine like terms, we get negative 2x squared, and that will be a negative 4x and a plus 16. Oops. So we've looked at all these different ways of doing things, so now you have this to refer to. Your assignment will be on Delta Math. It's called Delta Math Quadratics Part 1, Review 2. So you're going to want to get that done, and we'll go over any questions that you have in class.